Imagine this. You find your dream home, perfect view, perfect space, but there's just one problem. You don't have millions in your pocket to pay up front. So what now? This is where real estate financing steps in. It's the silent force that turns dreams into reality, turns empty lots into skyscrapers. Whether mapalit ba ka sa imong pinaka-first nga balay, mo-invest ka og property, or building a business, money moves everything. Ang kwarta ang nakapalihok sa tanan. But behind that money, there's a system na ay structure and yes, even a few tricks and traps to avoid. Today, we're going to break that all down from asa gikan ng kwarta to how it flows through banks, the government, and even creative tools you might have never heard of. So if you ever wonder how people actually afford real estate, please stay with me and listen because this is where it gets real. Hello everyone, today we're diving into a core topic in real estate financing and regulations. So yeah, let's face it, kasagaran mga tao, dili sila makabayad upfront for a house or a property. Ara na musod ang real estate financing. Simply put, it's the method people use to borrow money for purchasing a real estate. But the question is, why is it important? Because financing makes home ownership and investment possible for everyday people. Whether manag-uyab or couple mo, buying their first home, or a business investing in property. Access to financing opens the door to long-term wealth and security. Now, let's look at the main sources of real estate financing. These are the institutions that provide or facilitate mortgage loan. For context, a mortgage loan is a type of loan used to finance the purchase of a home or other real estate, where the property itself serves as collateral for the loan. For context again, what is collateral? It is something pledged as security for repayment of a loan to be forfeited in the event of a default. For example, nangutang kag 1 million and imong gi-collateral imong balay. If dili gani ka makabayad sa 1 million, that means pwede na makuha ang imong balay. It is a repayment of the loan in case dili ka kabayad sa 1 million. That is collateral. So there are six major sources of real estate financing, from saving and loan association to mortgage brokers. But ato ra na sila himayon, magsugod sa ta sa savings and loan association. These specialize in accepting savings deposit and giving out long-term home loans. They played a key role in early American home ownership and still support buyers looking for simple residential mortgage. The next one is commercial banks. These banks are everywhere, from small town branches to global institutions. They offer a wide variety of mortgage products, nag-include og construction loans, bridge loans, and even the investment property loans. Next one is the mutual saving banks. These are community-focused institutions, and the interesting part is they're owned by their depositors. Their goal is to serve community, making them ideal for local home buyers looking for personalized option. The last the next one again is life insurance company. Yes, they just don't handle policies. They're big time investors. These companies invest part of their funds in long-term real estate projects like commercial buildings or housing complexes. The second to the last is mortgage banking companies. These are the middlemen that originate loans, then sell them to investors. They're not using their own money but act as facilitators, funding, closing, and even servicing loans for larger institutions. The last one is the mortgage brokers. Think of them ano na sila as the real estate version of a dating app. Silang middleman. But for loans, brokers don't lend money directly, but they help match you with a lender that fits your needs, especially when you want to shop around for the best rates or if you don't qualify, easily. So that's it for the major sources of real estate financing. Let's move on to the federal government's role in real estate finance. Unsa man ang goal sa federal government sa pag-finance at sa real estate? Let's talk about it right now. About how the government influences all this. The federal government role have two parts. The Federal Reserve Board influences finance and the key federal agencies. Let's start with the Federal Reserve Board influences finance. The first one is the reserve requirements. Before we start with the reserve requirements, the Federal Reserve Board plays a powerful role by setting two things. These are the two things: reserve requirements and the discount rates. Reserve requirements, this is how much cash banks must hold. If requirements are high, bank lends less. If they're low, lending flows more freely. And then the discount rates, the second setting of the Federal Reserve Boards is this is the interest rate the Fed charges banks. Lower rates means cheaper loans for us. Magadako ang rate makes borrowing more expensive. Then we have federal agencies that are deeply involved in supporting home ownership. The first one is Farmers Home Administration, or the FMHA. It provides affordable financing for rural families and farmers who may not qualify for traditional loans. And now, let me introduce you to what I like to call the siblings of real estate finance. Kaning tulo ka pangan, you'll hear a lot in this field. Si Fannie Mae, si Ginnie Mae, and si Freddie Mac. Nindot nga mga pangan, right? Sounds like a family you'd meet at a Sunday barbecue. But don't be fooled. These three might sound friendly, but they play big time roles in the mortgage world. Magsugod ta ni Fannie Mae, the big sister. She was created first and she's all about buying mortgage from lenders so those lenders have more money to give out to other home buyers. Fannie helps the real estate money wheel spinning smoothly. Then there's Freddie Mac, the little brother, who's got a similar job but he focuses more on smaller banks and saving institutions. Think of Freddie as the one helping the little guy stays in the game. And finally, we have Ginny Mae, the sweet middle sibling with a powerful job. She guarantees government insured loans like FHA and VA loans. That means even if a borrower defaults, investors still get paid. I'm sorry. Investors still get paid. She's all about security and trust. So whether you're buying your first house or just curious how the housing market stays funded, remember, Fannie, Freddie, and Ginny, the ultimate real estate trio, are working quietly behind the scenes to make financing possible for millions of people. So let's move on to the mortgage loan markets. Now let's break it down into two markets, the primary and the secondary. The primary market is where borrowers go directly to lenders. This is where mortgages are originated, meaning where the loan process starts. Some key players here are the mortgage bank that focus solely on financing homes, the saving institution that lend locally and prioritize home ownership, and commercial banks that offers a mix of residential and commercial loan options. The second one is the secondary market is where the action happens after the loan is made. Here, mortgage loans are sold to investors. This provides cash flow back to the lender. Who are these inventors? Insurance companies looking for stable, long-term returns, investment funds that pool capital into mortgage-backed securities, pension plans that use real estate investment to support retirees, and of course, the big players, again, the siblings, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae. These GSEs ensures that mortgage lenders never run out of funds by buying up existing loans and packaging them into investment. We'll move on to the specialized financing instruments. Let's talk about the creative and flexible tools used to finance real estate. There are types of mortgage loans. Magsugod ta sa purchase money mortgage. It is used when the seller finance the buyer directly. Common is siya in owner finance deals. The next one is the blanket mortgage. It is used by developers. This loan covers multiple properties under one agreement. The next one is the package mortgage. Not only the house but also personal property like furniture or appliances are included in the deal. And then naadiri ang open-end mortgage. It works like a credit line. You can borrow more money later without refinancing. The wrap-around mortgage that combines an existing loan with a new one where the seller keeps paying the old loan and receives payment from the buyer. The shared appreciation mortgage. The lender allows a lower rate in exchange for a percentage of the property's future value. The last one is the reverse annuity mortgage. It is designed for seniors who wants to convert home equity into income without selling the house. Ang sunod niya is the construction loans, the installment contracts, and the sale and leaseback transactions. But aton himayon, ato hinaynayon, the construction loans, these are short-term and disbursed in phases to fund building projects. The installment contracts are also called land contracts, where the buyer gets ownership only after full payment is made. And the last one is the sale and leaseback transactions. It is often used by businesses. They sell their property to an investor, then lease it back so they can keep using it while freeing up capital. Now, let's move on to the real estate investment syndication. Teamwork makes the dream work. Alright, so picture this. Imagine, you've got a dream na kay pangandoy nga makatag-iya og massive condo complex or a mall or maybe a high rise. But then reality kicks in. Imo check mo kwarta, you check your wallet and realize, this is not gonna happen alone. So what now? Haba na musod ang syndication. Think of it as the real estate version of forming the Avengers or an allied or like an alliance or something like that. Each person brings something to the table, so together you can tackle big investment projects that no one could handle solo. Then A, the limited partnerships. Here's how it works. You've got two types of people, the limited partners and the general partners. Ang limited partners, they provide the money. Sit back and watch it. Hopefully grow their risk only what they put in. Nani sa atong accounting guys, I think if you've had partnership accounting, corporation accounting, or something like that, you've already tackled the limited partners and the general partners in a partnership, in a co-partnership or something like that. Mao ni siya, pareha jud ni siya. The limited partners, they provide the money, tanaw lang sila, and hopefully, mag-grow ang ilang kwarta, it's their risk. Only what they put in. Then nasa ng general partners. I know you already have an idea of this if you have listened to the accounting discussion. These are the hands-on folks who manage the whole operation. Think of them as the captains of the ship. Sila mo handle. It's teamwork but with clear roles and protections, especially for those who just want to invest without the day-to-day hustle. And then B, the rates, the real estate investment trust. Next up, we've got the rock stars of passive investing, or the REITs. Imagine being able to invest in malls, office buildings, or apartment complexes without ever having a deal with a single leaky pipe. That's what REITs let you do. They're companies that owns or finance income producing properties, and you can invest in them just like you'd buy shares in your favorite brand. So basically, you get the benefits of real estate without the landlord headaches. And then naasad ang blue sky laws. Blue sky laws, and now the reality check. Because when money is involved, so is regulation. If involved gani ang kwarta, Nasa mga rules and regulations sa nasad. Enter the blue sky laws. These are the state laws designed to protect people from shady deals. They make sure investments are transparent, fair, and safe. In case there's a fraud, malpractice, or what. It's like having a legal umbrella over all this syndication. So people know what they're getting into and don't get scammed out of their hard earned cash. To wrap it up, real estate syndication is all about teamwork and opportunity. Whether you're a money backer, a hands on manager, or a casual investor, just a reminder it's a powerful tool when done right, and with the right protection in place, everyone can win. It's a win win situation if everyone can have the power, if everyone can contribute.
Good day, everyone. I am Trexie Grace Espanol, and we will be tackled about financing legislation. So, financing legislation refers to the laws created by the government to protect people who borrow money, especially when it comes to large loans like buying a house. These laws ensure that lenders are honest about the real cost of a loan, including interest and fees. They also promote fair treatment by preventing discrimination when someone applies for credit. Additionally, financing legislation helps buyers and sellers understand the full details of closing costs and the steps involved in a real estate transaction. Overall, these laws make the loan process safe, clear, and fair for everyone involved. So there are three important laws you need to remember. Truth and Lending Act or Regulation Z. Make sure borrowers know the full cost of a loan, including interest and fees before agreeing. The second one is the Equal Credit Opportunity Act or EQUA. This means protect people from discrimination when applying for credit. Lastly, Real Estate Settlement Producers Act or RISPA. This means ensures buyers and sellers know all closing costs in a home loan transaction. So these laws helps ensure the loan's terms are fair, clear, and non-discriminatory. So let's proceed. Truth and Lending Act Regulation Z. Regulation Z became law on July 1, 1969. Its main goal is to make sure borrowers know the full cost of a loan before they sign anything. This law applies to loans used for personal, family, or household purposes like home repair. So like for example, if you borrow money to renovate your kitchen, the lender must show you the exact interest rate and all charges before you agree. So what Regulation Z covers? Regulation Z covers loans where real estate is used as security. This means when you use something like your house as collateral to get a loan. It includes loans for home improvements like repairs or remodeling. However, it does not cover business loans unless the business is for agriculture. Like for example, if someone uses their house to borrow money for home repairs, that's covered by Regulation Z. But if they borrow money to open a coffee shop, it's not covered unless it's a farm business. So let's go to the key requirements of Regulation Z. This law says lenders must tell borrowers the annual percentage rate or APR all finance charges like services, fees, or loans points. Borrowers also have a 3 days window to cancel the loan unless it's for buying or building a house. So let's go to the key requirements of Regulation Z. This law says lenders must tell borrowers. This law, Regulation Z, ensures that lenders are transparent about the true cost of a loan. First, they must tell you the annual percentage rate or APR, which show the total yearly cost of the loan, including interest and other fees. This helps you compare loans from different lenders. It also requires lenders to disclose all finance charges, like services, fees, loan points, or any other costs associated with getting the loan. By knowing this, you can avoid unexpected expenses and better understanding the full cost of borrowing money. Additionally, borrowers have a 3 day window to cancel or rescind the loan after signing the agreement. This is consumer protection feature giving you time to think it over. However, this 3 days cancellation period does not apply if the loan is for buying or building house, as those transactions are typically more urgent. Like for example, you take a loan for fix your roof. After thinking about it, you change your mind the next day. And dili na nimon makancel ang imong giloan without the penalty. So that's the key requirements of Regulation Z. So let's proceed Regulation Z and advertising. When lenders advertise loans, they must be truthful and clear. This is important because many people are attracted to big, bold claims like low monthly payments. But those ads can be misleading if they don't show the full picture. Like for example, if they only mention the monthly payment, we might think it's affordable, but we don't know the total prices or interest rate. That's why the law requires them to also show the price or the cash price, the down payment, and the APR or the annual percentage rate. The cash price, so you know the full cost of the item or property, and the down payment, so you know how much you need upfront, and the APR or annual percentage rate, understand the true of borrowing including interest and fees. This helps borrowers make smart decisions, compare loan offers fairly, and avoid being tricked into loans that seem cheap at first but are actually expensive in the long run. So let's proceed Regulation Z penalties. If lenders break the rules under Regulation Z, they face serious penalties. This is to make sure they stay honest and fair when dealing with borrowers. The penalties can include fines between $100 and $1,000, court and legal fees, and if they intentionally break the law, they can fine up to $5,000 or even to go to jail for up to 1 year. Imagine a lender hides extra fees in the loan documents, and the borrower finds out. That lender could be forced to pay double the fee, go to court, and even face jail time if it was done on purposes. These penalties exist to protect borrowers and make sure all lending practices are done fairly and transparently. Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or EQUA. EQUA is all about fairness. Lenders can discriminate based on race, gender, age, religion, Martian status, or if you receive government help. Also, if your loan is denied, they must tell you why is writing. Like for example, if a woman is denied a loan just because she's single, that's illegal under EQUA. RESPA, or the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, protect buyers and sellers during home transaction. It makes sure that everyone understands the closing costs involved before finalizing the deal. RESPA applies when the loan is federally related, like if it's backed by the government or sold to companies like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Like for example, if you're buying a house with a bank loan, RESPA helps make sure you know about all the fees like title fees or taxes. RESPA requirements. RESPA only covers new first mortgage loans. That means it doesn't apply to every kind of home financing. It doesn't apply if the seller is directly financing the loan or you're taking over someone else's existing loan. Also, when you apply for a mortgage, the lender must give you a hand booklet within 3 business days. This booklet explains all the costs and steps involved in the home buying process. Let's say you apply for mortgage on a Monday. The lender must give you the booklet by Thursday at the latest. This way, you have a time to read and understand everything before making a big decision. Special Information Booklet, or a Settlement Cost and You. This booklet helps borrowers